Well, g'day fishers, welcome to our long weekend fishing report. Weather looks absolutely glamour. All I can say is make the most of it. Make the most if you've got 3 or 4 days off, get out there and get fishing. We'll begin with our kids fishing competition, which we run most school holidays, and it's going off, to be honest with you. Some cracking fish being sent in so far. Bream 38 centimetres, there's a few fish at 38 centimetres, which is great for young kids getting fish of that quality. Flatties 51 centimetres, but interestingly enough, there's no whiting been sent in yet. So if you're listening out there, young kids, get into the whiting because we haven't received a photo of a whiting yet. I'm sure that's going to change this weekend. And we do have live worms in the shop this weekend, so if you're keen on catching whiting, live worms will be the go, that's for sure. So kids fishing comp doing well, 38 centimetre bream, 51 centimetre flatties. Get into it. You've got a week to go, and the weather's looking really good. So hassle your parents, get them out there. You've got to get out there early. So my suggestion is get up at 5 a.m, get into them. So parents, get out of bed 4:30, make a coffee, take your kids down. That's what my mum used to do. She hated me for it. But anyway, all good. So don't forget too, speaking of time, daylight savings, put your clocks forward an hour there Saturday night in preparation for daylight savings. Bring that on, although the mornings are a little bit tougher, the afternoons are certainly better. You can get out after work and go for a fish. I can't wait, that's for sure. So what's been happening in the bay? The talk this week's definitely flatties. So some good flathead around this week. Some lovely fish being caught throughout the estuary system. Some absolute beauties as well. Young guy, he's been fishing land-based. Saw another photo of another fish there in the high 80s, just down on Nelson Bay Beach there. Some absolute cracking fish there. But there's spread throughout the estuary. There's a lot more concentration of fish up the back half of the estuary. Like I kept saying, that Tilligerry Creek area from Taylor's Beach all the way right up to the tennis courts, the old tennis courts, I should say. And then obviously the Karua system as well, up past the bridges. There's been plenty of flatties. Now, a lot of them have been up in the shallows, obviously basking in the warmth. Now, the water temperatures, I reckon, is going to spike over the weekend. It's hovering around about 20 to 22 degrees in the estuary, the back half of the estuary, which is pretty good. But right up in the shallows, in behind the racks there. We've got big tides this weekend, so just be mindful that I think that you're going to find that the fish are going to be a little bit spreading behind the racks, but as soon as that tide starts to flow out, that's when I'd start to dong them. So not bad tides this weekend. Be good to go and chase a few flatties around, that's for sure. If you're land-based, you haven't got a boat, then you can fish up around Taylor's Beach on the flats there. To be prime up on the flats there this weekend. Getting back down towards Soldiers Point, Cromarty Bay area be really good to fish, that's for sure. And then back down along Corlette, along Nelson Bay Beach, like I said, and right down the eastern end of Shoal Bay Beach in the corners there, where the old disability hospital is, be worth a shot. But you're going to have to do it early. There's going to be a lot of people out there. Definitely early or late to find a few fish, that's for sure. Like I said before, with the kids and the bream, there's been plenty of bream around this time of year, and in the lower half of the estuary. Some absolute crackers along the breakwall still this week, surprisingly, because the water's so clear. But there is a trigger. You have to fish really, really light leaders. A lot of guys going down a 6-pound fluorocarbon to get the bites out of those fish. And on the baits as well, so incoming tides doing well. Just remember those bigger tides have a bit of flow there, so that lasts to 2 hours of the incoming tide will fish well down there. A few kingies down there. Young Jay, he's been throwing a few slapsticks around, so we've got a full range of slapsticks in at the moment. Getting some nice kings up to 80 centimetres and losing some much rather larger fish that he can't stop, but doing pretty well on the slapsticks there and the kingies, that's for sure. So worth a shot down there. Some big silver trevally in the marina. Some young kids getting them up well over 40 centimetres, so good fun there as well. Now those longtails got a little bit quiet this week. They had to finally sort of vacate the bay. They have been there, but I think if you're going to find them this weekend, you're going to have to be super early, because I think with all the boat traffic this weekend, they will spook. But they have thinned out a little bit, a few mac tuna, but also, interesting enough, those salmon are still hanging around Little Beach there, but they do know that sanctuary zone pretty well there. But if you can fish the run out tide, they do get around on the other side of the headland there into Shoal Bay, but they're feeding on really small baits. So those armory anchovies I keep banging on about, those 5 to 11 grams are definitely the key to catching those salmon, that's for sure. So bay's alive at the moment. It's a good weekend to go and target a Mulloway. We're on the full moon on Sunday. Bigger tides though, but if you fish that incoming or the last bottom of the tide there, get some fresh squid, which we'll have in this weekend. or some liveys and get up towards the back of Soldiers Point, Middle Island there, Fame Cove, all the usual haunts for a mulloway. I think you'll do all right on those this weekend, that's for sure. So bay fishing pretty well. Did hear a little bit of a report, a couple of mud crabs are stirring as well, so it might be worth putting the traps in this weekend, that's for sure. Now on the beaches, it's going to be a lovely weekend to go and fish the beaches, I think. There's going to be minimal swell, which means I think you're just going to have to find those shallow gutters, fish really, really light. So lighter leaders, lighter sinkers, and fish a few of those gutters. There might be a bit of sweep with the bigger tides, but definitely worth a fish on the beaches this weekend. I think you'll find there'll be a few bream still in the gutters. You might find the odd whiting. There has been reports of the odd whiting. Usually this time of year, they are bigger whiting. You won't get the numbers, but you will get bigger fish, that's for sure. So any of the gutters be worth fishing. I think there's the redweed at Fingall's cleared a little bit, but you just have to go and have a look. But the northern side of Fingall's nice and clear, as well as a few flatties up that end of the beach as well. Down on Samurai be really nice, especially we're going to have northwest winds. Samurai be really good. It will be busy, obviously going to be traffic there, so trick is fish those low light periods and fish your rising tide down that way. And obviously down Barubie Beach, again, it's going to be pretty well mayhem there, but if you can get up early, get into it, be definitely worth a fish down that way. And if you're keen to fish after dark, like I said, we've got those tides going into the evening, those bigger tides. It'll definitely be worth a fish for a mulloway. This moon in October is always a beauty to go and find a mulloway off the beach. If you're not interested in throwing base, definitely throw some big soft plastics. We've got those big cast 8-inch and 6-inch plastics back in that I know a lot of locals have been using on the mulloway, including myself. So definitely worth throwing those around the beaches for a few mulloway. On the rocks, so again, a little bit slow on the rocks this week. We haven't had much swell, had a little bit of a southerly there, but there's still plenty of bream around. If you want to have a spin off the rocks, definitely throw a whole gar in the washes. You'll get some good tailor at first light, especially down off Boxy, 1 Mile Point. All those points that jut out there will have tailor on them this weekend. A few salmon mixed in as well, a few bonito. Interestingly enough, finally starting to hear reports of squid around the rocks, so that's a good sign. So it'll be a good weekend to go and target a few squid, I think, off the rocks this weekend. Now the offshore scene, so a really good snapper caught this week, and I think with a full moon, you're going to have to work a little bit harder with them. I think the snapper turn off a little bit on the full moon, but you might fish after dark for your snapper on that rising tide after dark. So usually what I find, moon rise, moon set is the key to catching snapper around this full moon. Definitely be worth a shot at trag, especially in those deeper parts up at the Big Gibber, the outer 21, the outer V, and down off Boulder Bay wide, Uralla as well. So definitely worth a shot on the trag. Spoke to Brad off Pacific Blue Charters, got an absolute cracker of a kingy, got that on the V yesterday. I think it was up around 12 kilos, an absolute cracker of a kingy. So there are some good kings around, and there will be some good kings in the shallows. The water's nice and clear if you want to go stick baiting for a few kings, that's for sure. Now out further wide, I should say, I'm getting my words mixed up this morning, big report. Further wide, spoke to Jerome and Zenon, they fished out wide, got some really nice bar cod, so they did really well on the Barries, fishing there the last couple of days. They said there's only a trickle of current down, about 1 to 1.5 knots, so definitely worth a shot. Some bar cod up to Allmark there, if you can find the kings there. They have been moving around a little bit, so you just got to find those kingy schools and you'll find a few kings. It'll definitely be worth the weekend to go out there and jig a few kings or soak a few live baits on Allmark, that's for sure. So might be worth a look for an early season striped marlin. I know further north there are some good striped marlin up off Port Macquarie, a little bit further north as well, up toward Coffs. There's some good striped marlin action up there at the moment. A few guys getting 2 or 3 day striped marlin to the north. So only a matter of weeks before we see a few stripes turn up down here, that's for sure. Anyway, it's a cracking weekend. Get out there. We are open all weekend. 6 a.m. Saturday, 6 a.m. Sunday. And we're open Monday as well. So get in. We've got plenty of bait, and it looks like a glamour weekend. So make the most of it.